mean, it felt inevitable when the year started that Caitlin Clark would become the all-time leading scorer in the NCAA for both men. But this weekend, she passed Pete Maravich for all-time point scorer, a record that stood for over 50 years. She needed 17, hits a free throw to get 18. How do you put that accomplishment into perspective, Freddie T?
It's tough. I mean, it's easy, but it's also tough. I mean, usually we have these GOAT conversations, and then we have all these different debates and try to make these excuses up and our biases for our person that we like. But I think, hands down, she's the GOAT of college basketball. You know, to be able to have the women's scoring title and the men's, the all-time. And what I thought was so dope about it was that LeBron, he has eclipsed 40,000 points the day before. I think she eclipsed, becoming the all-time leading scorer. And he texted her, congratulations. I want to screenshot it and hopefully get an autograph one day.
Man, this is special as hell because back in the day, it was even 7 feet, you could score 100 points in a game. The competitiveness, the training that people have nowadays, the parody of what college sports is right now. Like everybody's going to that next level with the AAUs and all that. And for Caitlin to now be the leading scorer of all time, I'm not saying I disrespect those guys back in the day, but the level of play right now is at such a high level. And for Caitlin to do what she did, she's special. Whatever she want to do, hell, do it, baby. You the GOAT.
I mean, first off, it also says who Pistol Pete was in that time because there was a difference in the way the game was played. People ain't score or shoot in the manner that he did. Shout out to a fellow Tiger. Caitlin Clark is one of the greatest hoopers of all time, especially when you're thinking about college. When you think of names like Dawn Staley, Shamika Holsclaw, Elena Deladon, Simone Augustus, Taurasi, Kelsey Plum. She's definitely amongst all of those names, but I think you also have to throw her in there with the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars. You have to throw her in there with the Michael Jordan, some of these players who had these great college careers. And there was some debate over whether or not she should be in those conversations without championships. Nah, this is what Christian Laettner was at Duke, dominant from the time he started until he left. And did you see the team she dragged to the championship last year on her shooting hands, on her handles? And so I think all of those things speak to her greatness. But to me, what speaks to her greatness more is her acknowledgement of history. To see her scream when her favorite player, Maya Moore, came in to congratulate her. To say that without Lynette Woodard, who played in the American Intercontinental Association for Women, so her record couldn't stand. That would actually be the record Caitlin Clark was chasing. And for Lynette Woodard to say to Holly Rowe, when Holly Rowe says, Caitlin Clark says, without a Lynette Woodard, there would be no Caitlin Clark. And she said, without a Caitlin Clark, no one would be recognizing Lynette Woodard. I think the unity that the women's game has shown above all else, above color, above ethnicity, above upbringing, was shown beautifully through Caitlin's accomplishment. And so I think even more so, not just for the player, but for what she's shown about the women's game, salute to her.